Okay, let's go to the bottom of Chavav and Beis. We'll just get a little bit of a running start while everyone files in. Let's start with Mukaf Roiv Din Shalevin. About 10 lines on the bottom, out of Tov Rabbi Yehuda, that the Beis HaMoikad was surrounded with rows of stones. Says the Gemara, Roiv Din Ma'niu. What is this Roiv Din? Explains the Gemara, Gezerta ditztabasa disalki behu litztabasa. One row of stones on top of the next. Says the Gemara, how can it be? How can you have a thicker, a fatter row and then a narrower row? Only way to do that is to cut stones. V'aksev, the pasuk says, Evan Shlema. Stones have to be complete out of Torah Veli. Amar Abaye, Dimitakni umaisi meikara. Thank you very much, pencils. That they cut them outside the base of image. We're just getting our bearings over here. Don't worry, Shikl Chazara. They cut it outside and then they bring it in. Avni Zutrasa, Avni Ravavasa. Smaller stones and larger stones. Kidchsev. As the pasuk says, Avni Eser Amos, Va'avnei Shmoina Amos. Zikni Beisav Yeshenim Sham. The elderly Kohanim would sleep there. Where would they sleep? On the rows of stones. Asks the Gemara of Amai, what's the reason they slept on the rows of stones? Laili Mitois, let them bring in beds. Amar Abaye, explains Abaye, Lavoirach Ara, it's inappropriate, Laili Mitos the Beis HaMikdash. Therefore, they slept on the rows of stones. Okay, new Gemara, Erev Tov, Kogai. Did we get everyone else? We got everyone. Okay. Chaver, the Gemaras are on the way. Mirz Hashem. So let's beer with what we have for a few more moments. The sushi is pariv. At least that's what I'm told. And kosher, Baruch Hashem, and made with some extra love. But for now, I arranged it. It's a shtickle, you buy things, put together, try different orders. Gotta have a little fun in life. Okay, let's go. The bottom of Chavav and Beis, new Gemara, it's a new week. Let's, hopefully the Chazara keeps on growing. 2 lines from the bottom. Pirchei Kahuna, Ish, Ksasai Ba'aretz, the Pirchei Kahuna, each one with his clothing on the ground. Asks the Gemara, Rabbi Nachum Erev Tov, asks the Gemara, Amai Hasam Karile Roivim, Hacha Karilu Pirchei Kahuna, in the Mishnah, there were 2 words that seemingly said the same thing. I could pass. It's part of the job. Never bother. Ask the Gemara that if we were paying attention to the Mishnah first used this word, roivim, which we translated as young Kohanim. Then the Mishnah said, pirchei kahuna, which we translated as young Kohanim. Says the Gemara, get your act together. Why first do you call them roivim? And then do you call them Pirchei Kahuna? Is it Roivim? Is it Pirchei Kahuna? Is it the same thing? Is it different? Erev Tov Rav Yaakov. Answers the Gemara. Top line, Chav Zayin Amud Aleph. Again, Nachamol. Chaver, let's get our bearings together. The Mishnah listed the young Kohanim and used 2 different words. Roivim and Pirchei Kahuna. Is there a difference? Is it the same? What's Pshat? Answers the Gemara. Amri, they explained in Hasam over there. They did not reach the age yet of doing the Avaida. Kari luhu roivim. We call them roivim, young Kohanim. Hacha over here, dematilu lemevet Avaida. That are the age of doing the Avaida. Kari loho pirchei. We call them pirchei. So let's go back to the Mishnah. Everyone, let's flip back to the Mishnah.
When they are doing
very good. That's what we're going to explain right now. Let's go back to the Mishnah. In context, will be much easier. This is a Yom Tov. We get to upgrade how much sushi we need. Baruch Hashem. This is how you know Shira is successful. We need more sushi. Okay, Baruch Hashem. Mirz Hashem. This is Gavaldik. Okay. It's been a while. So exciting. Doesn't mean to eat less. It means to eat more. It means you just need to get more. Mirz Hashem. Okay, Chaver, let's look back at the Mishnah. Okay, everyone flip one page back. And if you look at the Mishnah said, on the third line, Harayvim Shaimrim Sham. The Raivim would be Shaimer there. So when it discusses the Shaimrim, the watchman, it calls them Raivim. Later in the Mishnah, when it discusses the sleeping arrangements, what does it call them? Pirchei Kahuna ish ksasei ba'aretz. They slept on the ground. So what's going on over here? Those who watched the Beis Hamikdash did not do the Avodah. Two different age groups. We have the age of watchman, and we have the age of doing the Avodah. Explains the Gemara that the Pirchei Kahuna, those who slept in the Beis Hamikdash, slept there. Why? Because they did that avodah the next day. The watchmen, I hope we're not sleeping in the Beis Hamikdash. You're not a good watchman if you go to sleep. So when we talk about the watchman, we use the word raivim. It's a younger term. When we read the Mishnah, if you remember, we asked, at what age are you fit to serve in the Beis Hamikdash? So the answer is, it depends if you're a watchman or if you're actually doing the avodah. The watchman is going to be for the age of bar mitzvah to the age of 20. To do the avodah is going to be 20 plus. So Raivim, the watchman, is younger. Pirchei Kahuna is older. And obviously Ziknei Beis Av are even older than that. Yes? If you're 30, you're still considered. So, very good question. I was wondering the same thing. Very good. Everyone hear the question? 30 still young. 30 still young. I was thinking that we see that at 20 you're Pirchei Kahuna. So all of us are saying, Baruch Hashem, we're still young. Givaldik. But what's the age? The Gemara didn't answer the kasha. At what age do you become Ziknei Beis Av? And it's a good question, and I do not have an answer. I don't have an answer when you become Zakin. I don't know. Maybe 40, 45. I don't know. 80. No, the Mishnah said Ziknei Beis Av got to sleep on the benches. So the question is, who are the ones that slept on the benches? We know on the floor were 20 plus. What about the benches? It's a very good question. But again, back into the Gemara and Daf Chav Zayin, the Gemara is differentiating between Pirchei Kahuna and Roivim. Roivim is younger. They were the watchmen. Pirchei Kahuna is a little bit older. They were sleeping there to do the Avodah the next day. So when did the night watchmen sleep? Again, so what's that? Good. Let's just speak it out in its entirety. The watchmen didn't sleep. They watched. Where do they watch? The three places in the Beis Hamikdash. Very good. Good. Everything is pulling together over here. What are you saying? But they couldn't sleep. Also a good question. Very good. Good. So let's speak out what we know, and let's speak out. There are some details that we have not yet known, and we might not know for this Mesechtah. Let's go in order. Number one, watching is at some level not called an avodah. Very good, Rav Menachem, because the Gemara is saying lemevid avodah, and that's not the watchman. So the answer is going to be there's different types of avodah. The word avodah just means to serve, just means to work. So the watchman is working, but they're not doing the avodah as we call avodah, like what? Like bringing korbanos. No, I don't like that term, because we're going to see soon enough that something as simple as walking into the Beis Hamikdash to bow, hishtachavaya, is called avodah. So it's a little bit difficult to term avodah only proper korbanos. I think what the Gemara just means is in contrast to watching. That's all it means. Watching is one form of avodah. Yeah, but bowing's not mitzvah. That's part of the problem. But it's part of that parsha. Okay, because we're going to see that they only went in. There were a lot of optional things that we quote unquote call avodah. We'll see. We'll get there. I'm answering questions for later on. But again, the simple answer is the avodah, like everyone's saying, like you do during the day. You bring the korbanos, the psukim talk about. That's avodah. Then you have the watchman. Who's the watchman? Younger kohanim. They did not go to sleep. They stayed up all night. They better stay up all night, as we'll see, or else it was a pretty bad ending. When do they sleep? Oh, very good. And that's a very good question. I don't know the answer. It sounds like, I don't know, maybe it sounds like they didn't sleep. Maybe they went home. I don't know. I do not know. I have absolutely no clue. We don't have an answer. I would
2 weeks without sleeping.
I would assume that the answer might be that they go home. It could be that they watched at night and they went home by day. Our Mesechtah does not talk about it. I do not have an answer to that question. It's a very good question.
They're only talking about what's going on in the base of English.
But we're talking about those who went to sleep the night before. So those who are going to do that the next day, bring the karbanos, they went to sleep the night before in the base of Mikdash. The watchman stayed up all night watching. So what do they do the next day? So it could be right in a charami, right? And where do they sleep? Maybe back at home in a charami. Very good. I was thinking the same thing, but that is what we know at the moment, or maybe not. Let's see. Tinanasam. We learned in the Mishnah 3 lines down. Chav Zayin Amid Aleph. Beishleisha Mikaymais. In 3 places. HaKohanim Shoymim Beis HaMikdash. It should sound familiar. V'Halaviyim. B'Chav Aleph Mikaymais. In 21 places. Now, all those that are very good at math and know how to count, this is for you. Let's go. Where were all the different places? Says the Gemara. Al hey, Sha'arei Har Habayis. 5 on the 5 gates of the Har Habayis. Dalid al Dalid Pinaisaf. 4 on the 4 corners. So far, how many do we have? Very good. Guys, let the kids answer these questions. You guys don't have a chance. We're up to 9. When we get to like 15, it's going to be hard. Anyways, Sha'arei Har Habayis. Dalid al Dalid Pinaisaf. Mi bifnim. The inside, okay? Just be careful. Let's listen carefully. 4 on the 4 inside corners of the Har Habayis. Al Shari Azara. 5 on the 5 gates of the Azara. What are we up to? 14. Very good. No. 5, 4, and 5. So far, we're up to 14. Vidalid al Dalid Pinaisa mi bachotz. 4 on the 4 outside corners. Now we're up to 18. Echad. Belishkas HaKarban is 19. Ve'echad Belishkas HaParoiches is 20. Ve'echad Acharei Beis HaKapayres is 21. So this is where the 21 watchmen were. If you flip to the other side, you'll see there's a nice picture that they made with putting little white menchies in all the places that the Levium watched. The kind of we don't know yet. Very good. So far, well, we do know. Well, that was a trick question. You got me. The Mishnah taught us. My God, very good. Says the Gemara, okay, how do we know these 21 places? Mina, Hani, Nili. Here we go. Comes our wonderful Navi knowledge to our aid. Amar Rav Yehuda Misura. Rav Yehuda from Surah said, V'amri lo b'masnita tana. And some say it was a Mishnah. Tichsev, say the psukim in Divrei Hayamim. Lemizrach, to the east, Halavim, Shisha, 6. Lisfaina, to the north, Liyoim, to the daytime, Arba. How many is that?
10.
6 and 4 is 10. Lenegba, Layoim, Arba. How many is that? 14. Ule asufim. Now this is where it gets confusing. To asufim, we don't know what this means yet. Shnayim liparvar. 2 and 2, which would probably mean 4. 2 and 2 is 4. Liparvar. So 6 and 4 is 10, and 4 is 14, and 2 is 18. L'mayriv arba l'misila. Westward another 4 is 22. We have a problem. How many do we really need? Only 21. We're up to 22 and the pasuk didn't finish yet. Shnayim leparvar, another 2. So it sounds like that is 24.
Why did you say Bayan?
Bayan means towards the direction of day. That's, the way that psukim taught us, the east of day, the west of day. Okay. But if you add up what this pasuk just said, you have 24. Asks the Gemara, Amri, Hani, Chaf, Dalit, Havu. This is 24. So now, before we go further, can anyone try to anticipate how we're going to answer up what the Gemara is talking about? Yeah, he knows already. That's not fair. Oh, good. That's one answer. Good. It's going to be one answer. What? How else? Anyone? Again, how many Levium are there?
Take away the 3 for the Kayan.
Oh, very good. Maybe, which again, we're not really allowed to say this because the Yeltsinus. We're not even allowed to say this. You learned this? Oh, okay. The two of you. We're not really allowed to say this. It's okay. However, you should all know what you learned in the amount of time that they learned it also. Okay? I'll ask you questions on the second paragraph of Sukkah. Let's see if we can so quickly say, yeah. So, says the Gemara, there's 24 places. Now, we know Levim are 21. We know Kanim are 3. So just by math, 21 and 3 is 24. That would be one way to do it. The other way to do it would be like you're saying, is somehow that 2-2 business. So let's see, says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi, Hachi Ka'amar. This is how you read it. Le'asupim shnayim. Meaning that beis they take out. Meaning when it said shnayim shnayim, it just meant 2. Oh, why it speaks that way? I don't know. This is Nach. Don't ask questions.
You still have 22 then.
Oh!
Doesn't.
I got the Esther Vitrei Avu Frek the Gemara. It's still 22. Answers the Gemara, no. Heyech de Parvar, the last one, it said Shnayim le Parvar. That last one is really Chad. Slicha. The Pasuk said 2. How can you call it 1? Says the Gemara, Chad Have. It was 1 watchman. Va'achrina. And the other one, what's the other one? The Pasuk said 2. So what's the other guy? Bitzav sahu da'azul. He's just keeping him company. Meaning, when the Pasuk says that leparvar, you need to have 2, it didn't mean 2 watchmen. It meant 1 watchman and 1 guy to keep him company.
Well, we have a
One second.
for that guy.
What's that? Yeah, v'yosef gabe, and he sat with him. Why? Why all of a sudden here do we give him a friend? Everyone can use a friend. Says the Gemara, Misham dekoi avroi, because he's sitting outside. He's sitting far away from everyone else. My liparvar, and the Gemara says this is what the word means. The pasuk said shnayim liparvar. What's this word parvar? Amarabba barav shila kiman de amar. It means kilapi bar. You're sitting outside. So because this watchman was outside, he didn't have anyone near him, so he gave him a friend to keep him company. Now, the reason why this is so important is we're going to see very soon that these watchmen were very important to stay awake, alive, and well. If you're a single guy, sometimes you go near not really checkpoints in Eretz Yisrael. They're pretty good. But you go near some of these security guards, you just see a guy there dozing at his desk. Shkoyach, Mr. Security Guard, who are you watching exactly? The answer is,
Yeah, it's a security.
Exactly, and his holster is empty. That one time held a gun. But what's he doing? So the answer is he's bored. What do you want from his life? There's no one there. So the Torah takes care of that. The Torah says you're going to be bored and you can't fall asleep. So we're going to give you a friend. That's 1 teretz, 1 last teretz. Then we're going to call it a day. Vi ba yisema. La'ilam chav dal k'dir sev. The second teretz. Vav aleph beis aleph. Ve'i ba yisema. It's a good one. That means the second teretz. Ve'i ba yisema. La'ilam chav dal. And really there were 24. K'dir sev, like the pasuk says. Tlasa minayu. 3 of the 24. De koyhanim were koyhanim. Ve'esrim v'chad to Leviim. And 21 were Leviim. What's the obvious question? Go to the first 2 words of the pasuk. What did the pasuk say? Lemizrach. What's the next word? Leviim. Very nice. In the math it works out, but it says Leviim.
These are also for the Levium.
No, but it says Leviim.
Very specific.
Yeah, but-
The other watchmen also in the numbers. How many numbers?
It was 3. No, it was 3. So that works out. It's 3 Koyanim and 21 Leviim is 24. That works. But the pasuk calls them Leviim. Koyanim are not Leviim.
Yeah, but the Levium.
But still, but the Kohanim are not Leviim. How can you? If I were to tell you, by the way, 24, the extra 3 is the places that we haven't to, stage some dogs. The pasuk says Leviim.
They are Levium though.
Kohanim are not Leviim.
They're-
But what does that mean? Zok the Torah, says the Gemara. Very good. V'hach Leviim hu d'chsev ki Rav Yeshua ben Levi. Everyone is mechavin. Zok the Heilige Rav Yeshua ben Levi. Damer of Yeshua ben Levi, and this is when Torah gets confusing. Bechov Dalin Mekaymais in 24 places. That's quite a lot of places. Nikru Koyanim Leviim. You know, you're reading through Torah, you're reading through Nevi'im, and it calls them Leviim, and then it's Koyanim. That's quite the mess. V'zech and Mehem, and this is one of them. V'Kohanim Leviim B'nei Tzadoik. We'll stop over here. Let's take a moment to read it over. But again, outside we learned two critical. Really, it's two dinim we learned today. Number one is the ages of the Kohanim that watch versus the ages of the Kohanim that did the Avodah. That's the Mishnah of Roivim versus Pirchei Kahuna. And number two is where were the 21 places and how we learn it from the Pasuk. The Pasuk calls them 24. Either the second teretz is 21 plus 3, or the first teretz 2 is really 1, and the last 2 is just someone keeping him company. We have a good 3 minutes. Let's try to read through the Gemara. These are not easy words, and it's not easy reading. So let's take the 3 minutes, try to read it through. Tomorrow, the Gemaras I was told to ship this morning. I hope that means I'll be here by tomorrow, unless I just live in a world of Amazon and other places takes more than a day. But hopefully soon enough. It's coming from Brooklyn. It shouldn't take that long. But let's take 3 minutes and Amir Tashem, keep the Chazara going.